Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I must give a very big part on the back to the organizers of this particular symposium, which are the National Association of Logistics and Transports Technology Students, FUTA chapter. Particularly for coming up with this title, Unveiling the Future of Logistics and Transportation, harnessing technology and professional networks for advancement. I look at it from this angle. Basically, technology advancement come in two different ways. You're talking about the inventions and the innovations. Innovations basically has to do with stepwise, incremental technological advancement, while invention has to do with major breakthrough or radical breakthrough that we have. And in transportation and logistics, all these have occurred. And professional networks basically has to do with the strategies of advancing your career in the field. So I have this to say about the exploring innovations and strategies for next era of your transportation. My name is Ayodele Adotule. Like I said, I'm very glad for having me. Now, let's introduce this topic. Looking at it from the angle of the importance of logistics and transportation and the significance of technology in logistics and transportation with respect to professional networks. These are some key attributes of logistics and transportation. Pretty much, logistics and transportation helps with trade facilitation. What is trade? Trade basically has to do with exchange of values in the form of either in the form of goods or services. And depending on the type, on the location of these values, they're talking about the modes of transportation that are used to achieve it. Mostly maritime and air transportation is ideal for international or global trade facilitation, while road and rail mostly are good for domestic trade facilitation. And this is very, very key. With respect to market access, markets, as you all know, has to do with the place where all these exchange of values are made, and physically on physical level, at physical level. And then you have transportation and logistics able to help you access most of the markets. Either you're talking about the air market, you're talking about destination market, you're talking about raw material market, or any form of market you're talking about. Transportation and logistics help to be able to access this market and further help with its expansion. Now, supply chain efficiency is also one area where logistics and transportation is made very conspicuous. For example, all partners in supply chain system basically can be more efficient with the use of logistics and transportation system. All these could also lead to cost reduction, because depending on the modes of transportation or the way and the level of efficiency in the logistics and transport system could lead to cost reduction. Cost reduction, timely and reliable delivery of your goods and services to the customers will lead to customer satisfaction. So, and furthermore, you're talking about logistics and transportation able to help you reach disaster zones where things are extremely difficult, and bring about emergency response to whoever is in these zones using some form of particle transportation system. And all these transportation operations will bring about what we call negative externality. pretty much like unintended consequences of the operations, like emissions, like accidents, like noise, and all forms, and bringing about a lot of environmental impact. And so there's a need to be able to like sustain the logistics and transportation system and make it possible for the future generations to be able to still have a seamless and even a better improved transportation system. Generally, this brings about economic development, either from individual or national level. Individual in the form of a micro economic scale and macro at the national level. So that's some of the importance of logistics or transportation. Now, looking at the significance of technology and professional networks, technology basically bring about how we'll travel or how we move, and this has been the case over the years. So technology bring about efficiency, improvements in the way we move, improvements in the way we do our logistics and transportation business over time, efficiency and automation. And this has been the case from ages. The gradual improvement, either in the form of innovation, leads to better efficiency. Those are some of the advantages of technology. So furthermore, technology brings about real-time visibility of transportation assets or supply chain assets by the use of technology, of maybe satellite technology in the form of a global positioning system, or use of RFID, that means radio frequency identification device, it can be used to identify and tagged along with some of the transportation or logistic assets and make your assets seen real time. With the use of technology such as big data and algorithms, you could have data analytics. Data analytics, a very good data analytics could give you a predictive insights into how different transportation or logistics system will behave. Furthermore, you are talking about risk management and resilience, innovation and adaptability. Pretty much technology helps you to hold that. And using personalized customer attention, bring about some enhanced customer experience. Right, it's talking about personalized customer system, bring about customer experience and supply chain collaboration. You're able to collaborate using technology, you're able to collaborate with other partners in the supply chain. Furthermore, generally talking about global connectivity, that you're able to deal with partners in the US, in different continents, even at local level. Now, let's look at how technology or logistics and transportation has evolved over the years. We are going to look at it from three different angles. Firstly, historical perspectives. The ancient civilizations such as the Mesopotamian civilization, the Egyptian civilization, the Roman civilization, and the Greek civilizations evolved, become civilization as a result of the advancement in transportation system. Pretty much. During this early civilization, you have technology coming to play, the development of road system, helping to move from one point to the other. During the medieval trade routes, you have the maritime trade routes being developed, the sub-Saharan trade routes, and so many other trade routes were developed that basically enhanced the movement of people. And this, especially the maritime trade routes, led to the development of a lot of explorers such as Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus, who basically moved utilized some of these trade routes that were discovered to explore other civilizations. Like, for example, the Christopher Columbus was able to move towards the North America, discover some of the countries there. Vasco da Gama moving to Asia, including India and some part of Africa, including the West African coast. Therefore, opening some of these civilizations to the other world. Historically, also, you have the age of industrial revolution. During the first industrial revolution, you have the development of steam engines that brought about a lot of developments in the railway system and the maritime steamships. In the early 20th century, for example, you have the mass production of cars, notably by the Ford Motors and the General Motors in the US. By the mid of the 20th century, you have serious digital revolution that took place. For example, the development of microprocessors, and which is advancement led to serious digital revolution. And this digital revolution brought about globalization and e-commerce boom. E-commerce boom, globalization, able to connect that development of the internet, both at the intranet or the internet level, brought about the e-commerce era. And you have sustainability and innovation. Sustainability basically has to do with how to mitigate some of the negative externalities that came about from these operations or some of these transportation system. And of course, this particular people has to do with innovation, more innovation to mitigate some of these sustainability issues that brought about by the system, by the transportation system. Now, looking at it from different major milestones in the industry, from the invention of the wheels around 3500 BC, you have led to the construction of roads and trade routes, like I said, and development of maritime trade routes, invention of steam engine in the first industrial revolution. Then you have the construction of canals, expansion of railways. During this period, basically you have advancement, serious advancement in the maritime and the railway system. And by the late 19th century to the early 20th century, you have production of automobiles and eventual breakthrough in air transportation by the development of the heavier than air machine by the Wright brothers. Of course, this present epoch dealing with digitization and more digitization and more automation. This is the current situation. Now, the current trends, all that have led to some challenges, to more challenges, because technology will bring about challenges, unintended challenges. Some of the unintended challenges that we have right now has to do with the e-commerce boom. You have greater growth of e-commerce with respect to supply chain, which have serious impact on the supply chain system, and how to move these products and services around the world. We create new businesses for logistics transportation system. And the issue of last mile basically has to do with respect to urbanization. Last mile is killed mostly by road transportation system. However, with ruralization, pretty much there is the need for more, there is this problem of transportation coming up more with respect to delivery of some of the goods and services to the rural areas, and which makes it a challenge for transportation system, and new transportation system have to be developed to be able to reach some of these remote areas. Now, supply chain visibility, it is now becoming very expedient for you to be able to see in real time how your supply chain is moving across the value chain. And this is a major issue. And furthermore, you have sustainability and green logistics. New technologies have been developed to be able to mitigate, for example, alternative fuels, talking about alternative fuels, talking about electric vehicles, talking about self-driving cars, and even flying cars are some of the green technologies that are coming into the play. Then more digitization and automation. Then supply chain resilience. For example, this particular one is how supply chain is able to withstand any disruption in the system. For example, during the recent COVID-19 pandemic, we saw that some of the COVID-19 mitigating protocols that were put in place by government, such as travel restriction or outright travel stoppage, during those periods, brought a lot of resilience issues with respect to supply chain. That means being able to move your product from one point to the other, considering the fact that there is a travel restriction. Now, urbanization basically has to do with the growth of the built area. And this growth basically is brought about by population increase. Population increase brings about vehicular volume. Vehicular volume will also bring about high vehicular density. High vehicular density, as a matter of fact, will lead to congestions, travel congestions, or road congestions, or traffic issues. All this are becoming a very daily occurrence and is a major trend and is a major challenge which needs to be solved using some of our new technologies or innovating existing technology. All these basically bring about regulatory issues, and which means regulations have to be continuously improved and need to be complied with. Now, technology is important because it creates the future. As you all see, different advancement in technology has brought about new ways of logistics and transportation. Now, let's look at some of the trends in transforming the logistics and transportation trends. One major trend with respect to technology has to do with intelligent transport system. Intelligent transport system basically is the integration of information, communication, electronics, sensor technology with transportation engineering. And that has been a major trend. A lot of innovations are coming in that space. And depending on the type of data and algorithm, we could be able to have what we call data analytics, and which could lead to predictive analytics and give us foresight or insight into some of the transportation scenarios. Furthermore, you have robotics and automation. Robotics and automation has to do with efficiency and the use of machine to be able to achieve what needed to achieve in the logistics and transportation sphere. I'll show you some case studies of this. Artificial intelligence, which basically has to do with the training of sample data over time to be able to give better insights into machine, for machine to be able to think and even predict some of these logistics and transportation scenarios. Furthermore, blockchain application. Blockchain application, as you all may know, has to do with the use of trustless distributed system of moving virtual money from one part to the other, for example, cryptocurrency. This technology is being brought into the supply chain system, whereby all the partners on the supply chain who have their products or their activities within a blockchain scenario, and without any need for knowing who your supply chain will be. The most important thing is for you to get your product or service done as and when needed, and this is going to be the future, and this is going to be the trend. So finally, here, talking about Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? Basically, has to do with bringing your assets, your logistics and transportation assets into the internet sphere. That means real world assets in the form of logistics and transportation, by tagging them with some technology, either with the use of GPS, with the use of RFID, with the use of sensors technology. Now, I'm here to give you some case studies, some of this technology that are in place. The first one here is the robotic system for warehousing. Now, looking at these two different pictures, this on the left, you have the humanoid, which has to do with humans' form of robotics, able to do what humans would do and do it mostly perfectly, more perfectly than humans. Just for example, anything that has to do with repetition and accuracy could be done by some of these robotics. So let's see a live example of how robotics could be used in a warehousing scenario. So this
Robotics introduces the mobile shelf, a sophisticated warehouse robotics system that can reduce operating expenses by up to 80% while improving order accuracy. When your customers place an order, your warehouse management system passes the orders to Prime's robot control system, which utilizes state-of-the-art artificial intelligence to dispatch robots and bring the goods to a picking station. The result is a system that is fast and easy for your staff to learn and achieve picking speeds of 400 to 700 picks per hour. Your employees no longer need to walk up to 15 miles in an 8-hour shift. With Mobile Shelf, they do not need to walk at all. When Mobile Shelf runs low on power, it can automatically find and dock with our recharging station. Mobile Shelf, the best tool for the job.
Yeah, so we've seen how robotic system from the Prime robotic system was able to move
Prime Robotics
along in the warehouse. Now, the second case study I have for you guys has to do with the flying car. Flying car is upon us, and that is basically has to do with electronic vertical and takeoff landing system that is able to some form of aircraft that don't necessarily need a runway to be able to lift, just in the form of the helicopter, for example, but smaller and more sustainable and more affordable systems that are coming into countries like the US, China, and Europe, mostly at the present time. Looking at this particular picture with Joby has to do with an American company. Just about 2 years ago, I was in a meeting where Joby was discussing some of their level of readiness, of getting into the urban air mobility market in the US. And on this particular video, which I'm going to play for you guys, you see a Chinese company that just got their Type C certification for their urban air mobility system. Let's see how this works. You see it from the cargo, from air taxi perspective. So this system is going to be a game changer in the urban air mobility scenario. This vehicle, just because of the way it is developed, will be able to move to be on the same road system with vehicles, with normal cars, and able to move into the air and cut off traffic. At the same time, reach the remote some of the last mile delivery issues that are being developed. So both at the urban level and the rural level, and move both cargo and passengers, both for air taxi and cargo purposes. Talking about networks, operational networks, the lady entering the vehicle was one of my classmates in the past. So now, the third scenario or the third case study I'd like to talk about has to do with the self-driving car, which pretty much is a robot. And in 2013, I was fortunate to be in San Francisco when this self-driving car was being tested by Google. You can see that's me in the back of the truck, and in the trunk right there. The first time the self-driving car was being tested in San Francisco, and now it's an everyday site in San Francisco and other states where the self-driving car, which pretty much has been perfected, more or less, now move across the city carrying different passengers with very high level of safety and very low level of vehicular accidents. Let's see. Now, pretty much your network is your network. And having all these technologies to help you scale your career in the future, you need to be able to be in the right, with the right networks. And of course, which pretty much is even worth more than the cash you have at hand. So let's talk about a little bit about professional networks. These are some of the importance of being in a professional networks within the logistics and transportation industry. Access to opportunities. Opportunities are basically reside with people that have the information, pretty much, or that have the power to create opportunities. And most of these powers are within the people in the industry. So for you to be able to access some of these opportunities there, you must be within the sphere of the professionals in the industry. So that's one of the major things. So for you to have opportunities over and over again, then you must be with the right network. Furthermore, knowledge sharing and learning. Now, you guys are here. Why? Because you are members of Transportation National Association of Transport and Logistics and Transport Technology students in the FUTA chapter. This gives you guys are in the same network right now, and that's why you are here listening to this lecture. And that evolved from both year 1, year 2, and year 3 students. And you have this knowledge, sharing of knowledge amongst you, and you are learning. So it's because you're within the network of the FUTA logistics and transportation system. Further, we have the mentorship and guidance. If within the professional network, you guys have seniors that are able to help you to serve as mentors and guide you guys to be able to achieve your goals, even more quicker than anticipated. Of course, with all that, then you have speedy career advancement and able to climb faster in your career than others. And if you have, because for example, you have industry visibility, then people will know you within the industry that, oh, this has been our student member and has graduated to a professional member, and all that will aid your career. Furthermore, support and community. You need help, you can easily get help within the network. So these are some of the importance of being in the right professional networks in the industry. So I'm going to give you some key professional associations and organizations that are very, very, very important in terms of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. And virtually every member of staff in this department are a member of the, except me, except myself, I'm not a member. However, all of them are members of the CILFA. It's a very good and very prominent association for that have both the professional and the student body. So it's a very good organization. The other is also the Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals. You have the International Association of Public Transport, UITP, Institute for Supply Management, ISN, Transportation Research Board, if you are very keen in research, and of course the American Society of Transportation and Logistics. Others, for example, I'm not a member of any of these, but I'm a member of the Institute of Transportation Engineers that is based in the US, and also a member of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, ITE and AIAA. Are also some very good professional organizations that you guys could consider. On this note, I'd like to encourage you guys to embrace technology and professional networks for your future success in logistics and transportation. Thank you very much.